Hey, welcome to the table. Pull up a chair. I'm Dr. Paula, and today I want to talk to you about something that crossed my mind when I woke up this morning. It's the concept of faith over fear. And the reason it crossed my mind is because I've been sort of in that space of sometimes being afraid to do something or trying something new, or even just trying a thing that might seem out of the ordinary for me, right? And starting this journey with the YouTube posts and creating journals and so forth and so on are a little step out of my comfort zone. But for me, my faith, my religious faith is a part of the foundation of who I am, and that's what I lean on. However, I'm not just talking about religious faith, because faith can also be associated with trusting yourself and just trusting the process of whatever it is you're doing, and just trusting that you are capable, that you have all the tools you need to succeed and do whatever it is you try to do. A lot of times people have faith in others, just like someone might have had faith in you as you tried to do something new, or as you attempted something, or even just going through school, and maybe it's a graduate program, maybe it's your master's, maybe it's just even going to college for the first time. People have faith in you. Maybe you being chosen as the captain of a team, or even trying out for a team, or even auditioning for something, is someone has faith in you, and you might also have faith in yourself. All right. However, that fear comes in the background sometimes, right? And sometimes you can't trust that you can handle whatever's coming your way, or that it's going to turn out okay. And then you try to focus on, well, what can I do to make sure that this happens and that happens and that I get the best result possible? And then sometimes we get lost in the weed of that. And because of that, we don't know the outcome. We allow fear to kind of overtake us, and then it causes us to kind of become static and stagnant, or even frozen in that moment, because if I don't know how it's going to be, then I'm not going to do it. So we must try to kind of overcome the fear, not the faith, overcome the fear that we have, so that we can enjoy new experiences, so that we can try new things, so that we can just even explore even all the different aspects of ourselves and who we are. All right. So as I was telling you this morning, the phrase faith over fear popped in my head, and it got me thinking about a lot of things that fear is associated with. Right. And I already talked about the capacity and the capabilities, and whether you're qualified or not, and whether you're even ready to try something new. Right. But because it is new and unfamiliar, we become fearful about even stepping into that realm, into stepping into that level. Right. A lot of the times, the fear is a result of us being afraid of failing at something, or even looking stupid or foolish according to other people, or we're afraid that we're making the wrong decision, or, we care more about what other people think about us, so we're afraid to kind of step in the arena. And, that fear about what other people might think about you could be the thing that really stops the best idea, the best adventure that you've had in your entire life. And that's why I push so much in authenticity and showing up for yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to fight for you, right? And so sometimes the fear that we have, it disguises itself as a practicality, right? We tell ourselves, oh, we're just being realistic about, we're not going to do this, because come on, seriously, can we really do this? I just remember a time when I was younger, I wanted to go to medical school, to become a medical doctor, actually a neurosurgeon, right? And I had this belief that I could do that, and then life circumstances happened, and then I got to college, and then I was in the pre-med track, and I took a year off, and then I was like, well, I can't afford to go to medical school, so that's not a realistic dream for me. But the fear that it's not realistic, or the fear that I wouldn't be able to even finish, stopped me from going down that path. I mean, God had different plans, because he brought me back to this field in which I'm working with the brain anyway. So that's the funny part about that. But I just had faith in my ability to accomplish something. I just didn't know what it was, right? We can also make excuses as like, oh, we're just waiting for the right time to do something, or we're just researching or gathering information so that we can have everything we need in place, and that everything is just so and just perfect, so that we can actually do what we want to do. But to be honest, sometimes our waiting is not because we want the information, or we're waiting to get more information. We're just scared. We're scared to try something new and to just do something different in our lives, right? But we cannot predict the future. And the fear that we feel is often associated with that, right? So our tendency, what I've noticed in my practice and just in life in general, is our tendency is to go to the worst case scenario, the worst possible outcome that could be a result of what we're going to do even before we even try, right? So we focus on, well, what could go wrong, instead of putting our energy into thinking, well, if I do this, this, and this, then, it's possible that it could come out the right way, right? So I want you to think about something you wanted to do. Whether it's starting a business, whether it's writing a book, whether it's singing a song, whether it's auditioning, whether it's drawing, whatever it is that your interest is, right? I want you to think about that and think about how, you can kind of make that decision based on what it is in your control today. What can you do today, And you think about, well, if I want to do X, how much planning and how much this or how much that do I need to do in order to accomplish it, right? So, and think about, well, whatever decision you make and whatever decision you've made, if you have tried something new or if you thought about trying something new, how much of it was based on what you thought might happen, right? And how much of it is actually based on what could happen right now, right? The reality is that your courage isn't the absence of fear, right? Your courage comes from moving forward through that fear and having faith in yourself, right? And even for me, spiritually, it's allowing God to guide me, right? Because I believe He orders my steps. That's my belief. But it doesn't have to be God for you if that's not where you lean. But having faith, or having someone have faith in you that you can achieve whatever it is that you set your mind to, then that fear won't be a factor for you, right? It won't cause you to take no action at all. It might propel you to kind of try something different. For some people, fear doesn't count as a negative. Fear is like their motivator. That's their catharsis for doing something, right? Instead of stopping, the fear drives them forward, right? So in your walk today and in your day to day and just even this week, I just want you to think about, what would you do if fear wasn't making the decision for you? Think about that. Really think about that. What would you do? What are the possibilities that could be out there for you to have and to explore if fear wasn't a factor for you and if you didn't allow it to drive your decision making? All right. If any of that resonated with you, just, like, subscribe, and, subscribe to the channel, and let's see what happens.